All right, let's get nuts. Here we go, back at it again on horse race bets as we get set for Breeders' Cup Day 1 and Day 2. Today we're going to focus in on 4 races in Breeders' Cup Day number 1. That's Friday. But first I want to kind of help you approach things, I think, in a more productive manner, okay? First off, the majority of you, if you're listening to me and watching this, you're not new to this. You know exactly what happens in horse racing. You know exactly how crazy and wild Breeders' Cup Day can be. A couple things you want to be sure to do. Obviously, do your handicapping. And I think one of the most important aspects or tools that you can use for handicapping would be race replays, especially for the European runners, because it's really hard to tell their form by looking in those past performances unless you're extremely familiar with that. Probably one of the best things that ever happened to me in my 20 some odd years, and especially my last year and a half or 2 years at FanDuel TVG, was they asked me to jump into international racing because that's what we had in the morning. They're like, we want you to be an expert or at least try. And I was like, yeah, it's a challenge. Let's do it. So I really put a lot into studying pedigree, European form, European tracks, the way they run, their style, their training, everything. And I think it really helped me to understand. And so one of the best ways to learn about international racing, race replays. So wherever you most likely are wagering, whether it's Express or specifically TVG, TVG.com has a great site where you can go and look at all of the races that were run. Now remember, this is super important, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just telling you the truth. If you're going to play on the TVG app, you better get all your stuff in advance, because once the day goes, that app is a piece of crap. It's horrible. It takes forever. It's laggy. It's crap. But Breeders' Cup, in my opinion, is about getting your bets in and then not second guessing yourself. Don't go back and try to, don't do it. Trust yourself, or if you're following me, trust me. If you agree with me, then we're great. Then just go, all right? It's a fantastic 2 days. Don't chase if you can avoid it. Try not to chase. Formulate your opinion. And unless there are some really big scratches, you should just hold steady and let the chips fall where they may. With that having been said, hey, also understand that the shows that you may be watching, workout shows, whatever they're doing, whether it's on FanDuel Racing or I don't know, anybody else who has shows, whatever, remember that those shows are marketing and media. They're not necessarily there to give you racing tips because all the horses look good, right? Unless you see someone that looks crappy, which you can tell from your own eyes. You don't need anyone to tell you the horse looks like crap. You can see it in the workouts. So don't put so much stock into what they're saying and understand that that's just for fun. It's just to kind of get you going. Like if you think about media, let me give you an example of something I saw the other day for the World Series that pissed me off before we get into horse racing. I love baseball. My son is a freshman baseball player. He's on his JV teams, a pitcher and a first baseman, and he's hitting. Anything that comes on regarding Major League Baseball or college baseball on TV, he wants to watch it. And he wants to watch what they're doing and how they're doing it. So they did this thing before Game 3 of the World Series, T-Mobile batting practice. And it was an hour of them at batting practice. And my son's like, ooh, Dad, I want to watch that. I'm like, yeah, bro, that'd be great. We can see what they do before they get in the box, in the cage. We can see what they're doing in between rounds in the cage. We can see how they kind of progress. Because Major League hitters don't just come out there and start swinging hard. They kind of get their stuff together with their mechanics. Then they want to spray the ball to different areas. And then they want to start hitting rockets and bombs at the end. Well, the thing that made this suck because of media, where there was more chit-chat about bullshit. And I would rather have had like a batting instructor or a major leaguer say, hey, what's he doing right now? Okay, well, he's working on his mechanics in his upper body and getting his hands back or whatever the case may be. But they spent so much time BSing and making jokes. And I was just like, man, you said it was batting practice, not bullshit practice. Media. So I taught my son a lesson about media. I'm like, son, media, I've done it for 30 years. A lot of it is crap. Tap dancing, doing all this stuff without giving you what you really came to see. I got that off my chest. My point is, you got to ignore all the stuff on TV. You really do. They're not going to help you. Just have your opinion and go from there. With that having been said, let's get down to motherfucking business. Let's do it. All right? Woo, so excited. First thing up, we're going to start out with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint Friday. It is race number 6. It's 5 furlongs, and as I mentioned, it's on the turf. Now, in this one here, we've got ourselves 12 runners that are signed on. This is a really good race. Let's start to the inside. Okay, you've got runners like Brussels. You always want to kind of pay attention to the European horses, but this one, you know, he's been right there, and he's been going 5 furlongs just that one time last time out, and he was second. So maybe as they turned him back from 6 and 7.5 and 6.5, then he finally gets to 5, and he's probably a little bit better at 5. He's interesting to the inside, especially with the connections there. The 2, Military Code, another one, exceptional connections. Buick and Appleby just absolutely dominate when they come over here. And this is another runner that excels at 5 furlongs. That's what he wants to do. He definitely figures here in this race, coming off a bit of a freshening. He hasn't run since the end of August, but that doesn't matter for these runners. He's 12-1 morning line. Royal Testament has some speed, but I don't think that she is fast enough. But it is interesting that she's in here taking on the boys. Aspect Island. I don't see it. Obliteration. Asmussen, Jose Ortiz, 15-1. I can see them making a move from off the pace. Just don't think they're good enough. Intricate Spirit is quick and now goes 5 furlongs for the first time, and we'll find out just how quick he is. But I think he's quick enough to get the lead in here. Mission Central, an Aidan O'Brien horse that's going to be intriguing, that has already scored 3 of the 5 starts. But the 1 time or the 2 times they ran 5 furlongs are the 2 worst performances of the career. Havana Anna, this one I do like. So I'm not going to give you 3 horses. I'm only going to give you 1. I think that's ridiculous with so many races and so many horses. Why would I give you 3 and 4 horses per race? Now I'm making you do all the fucking work. That's dumb. Pardon my language. I'm fired up for betting. But Havana Anna, I think that she's super dangerous in here. She's undefeated at 5 furlongs, and I think she's definitely going to make some noise. True Love, also for Aidan O'Brien, will make some noise. Has run 5 furlongs, and I think is going to be effective. Cy-Fair. This filly, she's special. I think she's special. Now, I don't know how good the competition was in the Algonquin last time out at Woodbine, but her performance, go watch that race replay. She was pretty impressive that day. She broke on top and then faded all the way back to last. It was a field of 6 and then circled them like they were all standing still. It was very impressive. Very impressive. Schwarzenegger, Speed, Johnny V, you know where they're going, right? They're out of the gate and out of there. But I think they'll have some company from Lenilou because Luis Saez never wants to be too far off the pace. So that's a look at your field for this race. Where do we want to go? I think I've already tipped my hand. Go watch the replay of Cy-Fair. I love it last time out. Broke on top, took back, and then just ran right around everybody. This 2-year-old filly is not messing around. 6-1 morning line. I love Cy-Fair. That's race number 6, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, Friday at Del Mar. Let's keep it pushing. Race number 7 is going to be next up. That is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Right now we're on the main track. We're going a mile and a 16th. Race number 7 on Friday, 9 runners signed on here. Now, these are some runners that we have seen before, and including recently. Take a look at them. Iron Orchard, undefeated, has never gone a mile and a 16th. So this is going to be a challenge for her. But I think she'll be forwardly placed in this race, and that means she's going to be in the front end. Bottle of Rouge. Okay. All right. Mike Smith, stretching out. Great speed for Bob Baffert and Jill Baffert. They'll definitely be out there on the front end. Meaning, speed, front end. Percy's Bar, speed, but probably not as quick as the sprinter stretching out, so probably going to be in that second flight. Tommy Joe, Johnny V, he's not going to have her too far off the pace, but she won't be up in that first flight. She'll be in the second flight for sure. La Ville Lumiere, that's the 6 in here. Closer, I don't think her kick is good enough, but she will try to close from off the pace. Explorer is just going to rate behind anybody who wants to lead, and the goal of Juan Hernandez is to beat everybody to the punch. I think they'll make the move first. The question is, will they stand the test of time, and will they be able to take that pressure in the stretch? Super Cortadora, speed, but not fast enough to get the lead, I don't think, but you'll be in that second flight. And then there's Lawali, the 9 to the outside. Has had 3 starts, couldn't quite catch the runners last time out, but I think that's because they didn't quite go fast enough. The question is, will they go fast enough on Friday? I believe they will. I believe Lawali from Mark Glatt will be in the perfect spot. Le'Veon Pratt will be in the irons. I just like the running style. Now look, if I were to go with a second horse in here, I would definitely go Explorer and Lawali. But I'm really going to try to beat Explorer with Lawali. I think that she's rounding into form. I like what she's done. I like the improving buyer speed figures, 62, 73, 76. Now, if we can get her to, she's probably going to have to jump up 10 points, but I can see it. If the pace is there, I can see her jumping up to an 85 or 86 buyer and winning this at a nice price. Lawali is our selection in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We go from there to race number 8 on the card. That's going to be the John Deere Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Friday at Del Mar, 1 mile on the turf. Race number 8, we get 13 runners in here. Ultimate Love to the inside with Johnny V. Definitely figures, sitting just off the pace. Queen of Hawaii for Joseph O'Brien. Impressive in 2 starts over the turf, going a mile. Figures here at a price of 12 to 1. Imagination, the lady, is undefeated, but I just don't, I'm not really feeling her kick. I'm not really feeling that it's strong enough. Infinite Sky, that's a strong-ass kick right there. She is going to be motoring in the stretch at a big price. Final Accord, on the stretch out, probably going to be forwardly placed with Jose Ortiz. Switch in Love, the Japanese horse. Hey, very impressive in the 2 starts, going a mile over the turf. Has seen some tough competition. Not sure, though. Not sure. Celebrity Warrior, speed, but not fast enough to dictate the pace, so Louis Saez will have to really, really work. Whereas Brave Deb is faster for Richard Mandela. She will be out there on the front end. Time to Dream likes to sit and then run them down. Valentina will try and do the exact same thing. Ground Support has speed. You know what? They might be quick enough to get up in the front end. Pacific Mission, yeah, they're going to be in a great spot. You get great value there. And then the big favorite to the outside is Precise. Now, here's my issue with Precise. First off, 6 to 5 on the morning line. It makes sense for Aidan O'Brien, Christophe Soumillon. Look here. She's only lost 1 race and she ran second. My issue is when she was running in those races going 7 furlongs and a mile, it's all flat going straight. There's no turns involved. She's going to have to go 2 turns for the first time? 2 left-handed turns? Man. And that far post at 13? Nah. That's okay. I'll pass. I'm going to try to beat Precise. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You got to take a stand, right? I really, really, really like Time to Dream. Go back and watch the performance in the Jessamine at Keeneland back on October the 3rd, right? Got out of the gate, okay. Drops back, tries to make the move, gets brushed, and then when they finally catch a split, they really accelerate, and they end up being a length off the winner. I just like the way they accelerated when they found the space, and I feel like that kind of traffic is very similar to what you're going to get in a Breeders' Cup race. And the fact that she handled that traffic and that adversity very well, I think that bodes well for her chances. I love Time to Dream, 5 to 1 morning line in race number 8. Breeders' Cup day number 1. Then we get to it's not the final race on the day, but we're only going to do 4 races today. So we're going to get to race number 9 on the card. That is the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Mile and a 16th, right, for the boys most likely in here. And we've also got another really short price favorite in this field, and that's going to be to the outside. But let's start to the inside with Intrepido. Was a winner last time out in the American Pharoah. I really feel like that was it for him. That was a really great performance. I can't see him duplicating that at all, so he doesn't figure for me. Blackout Time, very interesting. You hear what I'm saying? All right. Mr. AP, not bad. I just don't think that they're good enough. They just broke the maiden last time out. Comport has speed. I was very disappointed in the performance in the Iroquois from Comport, but I still think that he figures very much, especially as a pace factor in here. Civil Liberty, no pace factor, but it's Doug O'Neill, and he does great things on big days. 30 to 1, interesting long shot. Litmus Test has a little bit of speed, and for Bob Baffert, I would expect Jose Ortiz to try to get out and get away from the field, but the other Bob Baffert horse, the 7 Brant, won't let him do that. So we'll have to try to find a way to rate just off that horse. So you've got the speed of Brent. They're going to try to control things around every single turn here. But they're going to have company. Ted Nafi is the 3-for-3 undefeated 4-5 morning line favorite with Hall of Famer, the ageless wonder, Johnny V, in the irons. My issue with this runner is, you know, they have the ability to sit just off of whoever wants to dictate, and then they can get away from you. I'm going to take the chance that a horse like Blackout Time can be sitting in the right spot and make it happen. That's where I want to go. Looking at the Beyer speed figures. So Ted Nafi, the favorite, 86, 98, 97. Okay, those Beyers are very impressive, and it means you've got a lot to deal with. But what I like the most about Blackout Time, so many things. I love the pedigree. I'm all about Not This Time. A lot of people love that sire as well. Very popular, very productive. Kenny McPeak with young horses, stretching them out. Fantastic job. Just fantastic. And then what I really like, obviously, the improving Beyers, right? 78 to 83. Everybody stay cool. Don't move. Don't move. I'm back. That was my phone ringing. Don't be calling me while I'm recording. Blackout Time. I like the Beyers, right? 78 to 83 and then to 93. And that was first off of a layoff. Now we have second off that break. I just think they're going to get something to run at. They tried to chase Ted Nafi last time out. They just didn't have enough there on the front. I think they'll have enough here. I think they won't be too far off. And I think that's the reason why I really do like Blackout Time, because I think that they'll be in the perfect spot. I think they'll be able to just barely get up in time and get to Ted Nafi, your big favorite. And there it is. That's how we do it. Sorry for the interruption there with the phone call on my computer. That's the first 4 races of the Breeders' Cup type races. Now on that card, they've obviously got races coming up before then. You can play that early pick 5 if you want to on Friday. It's always a great idea. It's always crazy lucrative. But I really love these 4 races, okay? We're going to come right back tomorrow. We'll jump into the 10th race on the card from Friday, and then the 9 Breeders' Cup races on the card from Saturday. That's coming up next. That's how we do it here. In the meantime, in between time, until next time here on Breeders' Cup Bets, I'm Ken Rudulph. Hey, we'll see you again coming up in this next show. In the meantime, good luck and enjoy whatever you're into. Let's make stacks on racks.